How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Draft season is quickly approaching us here, and the Cincinnati Bengals, at the moment, still free agency, going through things, picked up Orlando Brown Jr., of course, but at the moment, look to be in the hunt still for a right tackle and could be pursuing one here in the first round of the 2023 draft. And if that is the case, there are two names we've been hearing a lot associated with the Bengals potentially picking up if tackle is the direction to go in the first round. Those names being Anton Harrison and Dawand Jones. So today I dug a little bit deeper into these two and thought, which one really is the preferred fit if you're the Cincinnati Bengals? Obviously, you go right off the bat, Dawand Jones outsizes this guy by about a mile, but Dawand Jones outsized just about everybody in this draft, coming in at 6'8". The size, the strength, the length, just about unmatched compared to other tackles in the draft this season. Harrison, no slouch himself, coming in at 6'5", a little over 300. It's just, man, Dawand is such a big guy. And I think it goes without saying, if you can get the bigger, the better when it comes to the offensive line, as long as, they're not too big where the athleticism takes too big of a shot. Because those defensive linemen, it's just, man, you're going up against 6'8". I mean, you can imagine how difficult that is to move and how difficult that is to get around. And that is definitely a plus when it comes to Dawand Jones here for these Bengals. But I like to look at things a little bit further in depth here. We took some game footage from both of these teams, or both of these players, I should say. Dawand Jones going up against Aiden Hutchinson, as we know, prolific pass rusher for Michigan when he was there, and he had a pretty good rookie season for the Detroit Lions. And I'll tell you what, when it came to Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson does what Aiden Hutchinson does. He found ways to get to the quarterback. But I will say this. For a guy that a lot of people are concerned about his ability to, his athleticism, his ability to keep the speed rush in front of him, because again, 6'8", obviously, you're that big, your footwork, your athleticism, it's just not gonna be at the same level as some of these other players. It rarely is. And a lot of people are concerned about the Dawand Jones speed rush. I tell you what, I mean, you watch this guy play, the speed rush does get to him, but we don't see it hurt him where he's allowing the quarterback to get sacks. I think when you consider you got a quarterback like Joe Burrow sees that. All he has to do is step up in a pocket. I think you watch that with CJ Stroud a lot. If he just takes a step or two up in a pocket and that speed rush doesn't bother him, even when it was a problem, Dawand Jones did a really good job of keeping the guy to the outside. The one problem he did have against Aiden Hutchinson, I thought he did a good job running up against the line of scrimmage. He did a good job on the outside moves. His problem was lining up on the outside with space against Aiden Hutchinson, where Hutchinson would come in there, line up outside, finesse him a little bit, come to the inside, and he'd have the clear shot to the quarterback. That was the one move he really struggled with. Everything else he did really good against Hutchinson and company, and he's done really good against other college athletes, or college football athletes as well, we should say. Here's what I really like about Dawand Jones, though. I watched this entire Michigan-Ohio State matchup of Dawand Jones versus Hutchinson. Early in this game, Hutchinson beat him twice and got to the quarterback by lining up to the outside in space, comes across his face, beats him on the inside. Hutchinson tried that same exact move 3 more times throughout the rest of this football game, and nothing. Dawand Jones learned from it, understood it, was prepared for it, and it didn't happen the rest of the game. And that is just, again, this is a year ago. We can't take too much into a year ago because he's grown so much since then. But to see a guy play like that against an elite tier pass rusher and understand his moves, his, again, the way this guy's trying to beat you, learning from it, being prepared for it, you got to love that. Mid-game as well. And I think stuff like that, you learn in college, you're going to continue to get that in the NFL. The same guys, guys like that you're going to see in the NFL again, are going to try those same moves, those same plays against, those same formations, line it up that way. And from what I was seeing, it's, Dawand Jones is clearly improving and growing in those aspects, and that's great. Obviously, as a guy that's, again, 6'8", 350 and a half, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have that mobility pulled back a little bit, but you watch this guy play, and again, he might not be the fastest guy out there, but he comes around that edge, he keeps him to the outside. I mean, that's the best you can ask for. And I think more importantly, when you see between these two players, Dawand Jones is the more complete player because of the run game. This guy is an absolute animal, an absolute stud at blocking in the run game, one of the best coming out of the draft this season. And for that reason, you say, yeah, of course, you can pass protect. He's stronger in the run game. But, man, you get a guy like that that can protect that run game. Bengals can get that run game going, makes things even that much more difficult for teams. Yeah. Yeah, you want to pick a guy like that up. But you go and flip things over to Anton Harrison. We watched him line up against Felix Anudike-Uzomah, top draft prospect this season, projected somewhere late first, early second. We're seeing an edge rusher. And this guy, you talk about shutting a guy down. I mean, we talked about Hutchinson making some moves, making his presence known. Obviously, I think Hutchinson's a far and a better pass rusher, but you watch this guy play. Harrison locked this guy down. He was non-existent in the football game. And you love seeing stuff like that. A guy that's going to be an NFL player, NFL ready, and you don't even hear his name the entire game. Off the line of scrimmage consistently. In that guy's face, didn't let him get him pushed backwards, didn't have a problem with the power rush, didn't have a problem with the speed rush. Maybe one time in the game we've seen him get inside on him, but still, again, that was it. The one mishap against in that game, he played really well. And I think that's something you really, really like about Harrison, is you just watch this guy off the line of scrimmage. I don't feel like he gets pushed back very often. I've seen the things about his strength. We've seen some concerns on job profiles about his strength, but I just haven't seen that. Maybe in the run game, but in the pass game, it just seems like right off the snap, this guy's keeping the guy in front of him. He's keeping the play controlled. He's not getting beat. He's not getting beat around the edge. He's not getting pushed backwards. He's been playing really well. One thing, obviously, that's going to be the concern with Anton Harrison is that run game. The not so complete player, not as complete player because of his run game abilities. Oftentimes you see this guy kind of lost in no man's land, not blocking anybody. There's some run plays where he's not sealing the edge. He's pushing a guy down in a double team where he should be leading his running back out wide on those plays. It just doesn't feel like he has the run game awareness to be prepared for the NFL in that particular aspect. But when you stop and think about things, when you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you say this guy is probably about as NFL ready as it comes when it comes to being a pass protector. The Bengals are going to be a heavy pass team if they can be a heavy pass team, because they're just going to run over teams if they can with Joe Burrow at quarterback. And you know the number one priority for the Cincinnati Bengals team is protecting Joe Burrow. So when you look at Harrison and say, man, you're obviously, the one thing you're going to do is move this guy from left tackle to right tackle. They made it known Orlando Brown Jr. is their guy at left tackle. You're going to move him from left tackle to right tackle, opposed to Harrison, or opposed to Jones playing his natural position. But you get a guy like this to protect. You put him on the right side as well instead of the left. Burrow's going to see anything coming that way. I really like this guy when it comes to protecting the quarterback and Joe Burrow and company. And you wonder, is that worth the sacrifice? Is it worth sacrificing a little bit of run blocking abilities? Can this guy learn, grow, and improve in the run game? Can that be learned over the course of a few seasons as he becomes a great run blocking tackle as well? Because if that's the case, I mean, it's a slam dunk you take Harrison, I think. But, I mean, right now you have to take what they're giving you. And Dawand Jones has been playing really well. Didn't allow any sacks, didn't allow any hits this season. You compare that to Harrison, who allowed no sacks as well. Did allow a QB hit once this season, but these two have been playing really well. And I want to lean towards Dawand Jones just because of that size. You put the big guys out there on that offensive line, good luck. You look at there and say, yeah, the Bengals don't need to run the football a lot. They don't have to run the football a lot. But hey, guess what? If you can go out there and reel off 4 or 5 yards of carry, something the run game's really struggled with these past couple seasons. Can you imagine if the Bengals can get the 2nd and 5, 2nd and short, 3rd and short because of the run game? Go to 3rd and short and depend on that run game, having an option. And then you look and say, yeah, okay, let's talk about Dawand Jones because he's the more complete player. I don't think the Bengals need stellar. They don't need elite right tackle pass block. It'd be great to have. If you can draft it, you can draft it. But I think we've kind of learned with this offensive line, they got enough good players where they can just get a cohesive unit that's average to above average. I mean, Joe Burrow will be fine doing the rest. He don't need to stand back there for 3 seconds like Mahomes does to get rid of the football. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He reads the play, finds the guys open, he's ready to go. So if you can just improve the run game and make the play action, make that one more thing defenses are worried about against Joe Burrow and company. Because guess what? The run game felt non-existent a lot of the season. The pass protection felt non-existent a lot of the season. And when those two things came together, when the offensive line was playing well, the Bengals are starting to reel off runs. Boy, was they about just near impossible to stop on the offensive side of the football. And for that reason, I say, man, I think you're looking at Dawand here and say, you got to give this guy the chance. But I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. I can see the reason for both. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.